Happy Thanksgiving. It's Ryan with Puff Adder Speed and Fabrication here. Wanted to introduce you to a project I've had for some time. It's supposed to be a gift for my wife for her 50th birthday, and she's past 50 now, and it is still not complete. So this is Loraine. We haven't come up with her final name, but for the last few years, we've been calling her Loraine. She is a 49 Chevy pickup truck that came to us running and driving. I traded a BMW 135i that I had refabricated or fixed. It was a salvage vehicle that was wrecked, and I wanted to see if I could put it back together, and so I did. So we traded that vehicle for this. This was running and driving with a small block Chevy and had not been really, it's been mildly restored a whole bunch of times, but it was a stock chassis, rear end, front end, with a 350 and a 700 R4 transmission that leaked profusely. And it just drove, it was a death machine. It was terrible. I could not in good conscience let Jonna drive this. And so we set about doing a restore on it. In the meantime, we had two daughters leave the house. We'll get married, grandkids. We've moved, retired from the military, and moved 4 times. And so we're finally in a position, or I'm finally in a position where I have enough skills that I can, I think, build the truck and build it pretty good. So we'll give you a quick overview on what we've done so far. So the motor is a 325 cubic inch, 5.3 liter LS engine that I built quite some time ago. It's been tested a couple times and moved. It will have a full Holley accessory, front end accessory drive, and it will get painted. I'm not sure exactly what color yet, but it will get there. Underneath that tarp right there, it's not super exciting, but there's a 4L60, which is an electronically shifted transmission, General Motors 4-speed transmission that will go to the back of that engine and will propel this truck nicely. So I'll make a video or two when I refire the engine back up on the run stand. And so over here, when we started really looking at the truck, what we found was there was quite a bit of rust in areas that really needed to be fixed. It had quite a bit of Bondo in this area, and come to find out this whole area was crushed in and the whole side was rusted out. And that's 3 pieces that get sandwiched together to make that cowl part. Very challenging to do when you are brand new to sheet metal. So that took me a while to get mostly right. Still not my best work, but I finished that about 2 years ago. And then last year we did cab corners right before we moved. When I started to disassemble the truck, I found out that the bottom corners were rusted out, needed to be repaired. So, but in order to, they had about a 1/4 inch of Bondo on them because the doors weren't adjusted correctly. So if you see this body line right here, this body line should be adjusted, and straight all the way through. And the same on the other side right here, where you'll see I've already started to do some taping and marking, and we'll talk about that in a second. Well, they had adjusted, or they had done body work with the doors hanging too low, so there was about a 1/4 inch of Bondo on the bottom of it, the bottom of the cab corners, to make the cab round with the door. And so when I started removing the Bondo, I found that underneath the Bondo was a bunch of fiberglass, and in such it had it was rusted through. You can't really see in there. So it was rusted through and needed to be repaired. So I cut it out. I adjusted the doors correctly so that the body lines are correct here. And then you could see down here, the body line is nice and smooth. There's no Bondo in the front. And then on the back of this cab corner, installed a new cab corner. Now I haven't finished the metal work on this yet, but installed the cab corner, and now you have a nice smooth line. So these trucks were handmade, and one of the things you get with handmade vehicles is, if you look over here, there's a straight line. It's fairly good here, but then it gets up and it gets very tight right here, very tight all the way through, and up here, but then it gets loose again. So what we've got to do is we are going to cut the doors. We're going to cut the doors and make the door gaps perfect all the way around. It's going to be pretty awesome. So some of what we have done already is to We've done a modern Mustang 2 style front end, so we have rack and pinion steering. See, that's all, I've got that all welded in nice. Done most of the sheet metal work and repair on the firewall. I was still gonna end up cutting down below, right down there, and to create a better transmission tunnel. It'll look much cleaner and much nicer. You won't really see that when the transmission is in anyway, but I just want it to be nice on the inside. So when the interior's put in, there's a nice round hump there as opposed to some blotchy squareness. The other thing we've done, and it'll be a little bit hard to see under here, but is we have done a 4-link suspension. So I think you might be able to see over there, you got a triangulated 4-link rear suspension with what's called a Ford 9-inch rear end. So it's a copy of a Ford, and all of Ford parts will fit inside of it. It's a very strong, very nice, easy to work on rear end, and it will have 350 gears in it. So it'll cruise nice down the highway, get up and go a little bit. It's not crazy overly powerful. It's going to be somewhere around 375 horsepower, which is plenty for this light little truck. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it jacked up, get it level on these trailer stands here I use, and then I will make sure the doors are good and square, and then I will start cutting them. And that process will be, I will cut a short piece at a time at about 5 inches, and then I will open the door and tack it on this surface here. Tack it every 2 or 3 inches, and then I'll just do that all the way around, and then I will take the door off to get it, and then do a final welding. I'll take quite a bit, take a file and make sure it's good and flat everywhere, and then check and recheck the door. And then when we go into body work, it'll just get a thin layer of body filler to make the door gaps absolutely perfect. The color on this, we're looking at a jade metallic from a mid-70s, early 70s Bronco. I will find a copy of it and put a picture of it here, and so you can see what the color is going to look like. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the introduction to Loraine. If you have a better name for her, please let us know. Put it in the comments. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving and that your holiday season shapes up. You get your lights on your house if you choose to put them up there, and have a very wonderful next 4 weeks as we roll into the Christmas season. Talk soon.